Now that you know how to move around in the shell, and hopefully you feel comfortable with that, let's talk about creating directories, removing directories, creating basic files, and removing basic files. In order to create your first directory, you'll use the make directory command, which is mkdir, followed by a space, and then the name of the directory you would like to create. In this case, I'll choose the name test. Now you'll see here on the command line that I am in my home directory. You see the tilde there right before the cash sign. So this new directory test is going to be created in my current directory, which is the home directory. Now by typing ls, we can take a look at our new directory. There it is, test. And if we would like to, we can cd or change directory into that new directory, and now you see the tilde has changed to test on the command line. By issuing ls, we can see that this is an empty directory, and we can move out of our new directory by issuing cd period. So this takes us back to the home directory, where again, using ls, we can verify exactly where we are, get our bearings, and see our new test directory. Now, if I don't like this directory anymore, just want it out of my sight, be gone. That's kind of the fun of being a system administrator, right? You have all this power you can create and destroy. If I want to get rid of this directory, I can do so using the remove directory command, rmdir, and then the name of the directory I would like to remove. Again, it's the same as make directory, basically. Now we can issue ls, and we can see that the directory is gone. Now, in order to create a simple file and to show you a few more things about files and directories, we will call up a program called Nano. Nano is a text editor, a shell or command line text editor, so that without a graphical user interface, you can still edit files. Nano is very easy to use. When you issue Nano, this is what you will see, and you'll see at the top in the middle there, it says new buffer. So we haven't created a file yet. This is just a buffer. This is just information that's not stored permanently on any type of permanent disk or a hard disk. Until we choose to save it and write out our changes, this information could potentially be lost. So I'll simply type test1 in here, and then at the bottom of the screen, you'll see you have some different options here. You have that little up arrow, which is going to be the sign for the control key, and then some letters. So what we want to do now is to save. Do you see a save option down there? Well, there isn't a save option. There's actually a write out option. So look for that write out option, and once you find it, see it there, the up arrow and O, you can use Control O. So hit Control and then O in order to write out this buffer into a file, onto a file. Now it will ask you for the file name to write, and I will call this file test1. I could do test1.txt if I wanted to, but instead I'm going to keep this a very simple file and just make it just a plain file, test1, and hit enter. Now at the top, you no longer see new buffer. You now see file test1, because we're now in a file, not a buffer. A buffer is not permanent, where a file is going to be permanently written and residing on a hard physical disk. So we now have a file written, and we can exit out of the program with Control X in order to take a look at this new file. Issuing ls, we can see test1, this simple file is here in the home directory. Now, if we want to get rid of it, we can do that by issuing the rm command and then the name of the file. So it's not remove directory, rmdir, because this is not a directory, it is a file, and so we simply issue rm and then the name of the file. Issuing ls, you can now see that that file is gone. Okay, let's now open up Nano, but let's go ahead and specify where we want this file to reside. I'm going to recreate the test directory. Now that you have your test directory in your home directory, we can cd into that directory by issuing cd test. And then you can see here that we are in fact in this empty directory. And now we can issue nano and we can specify a file name. So we can type nano space and then the name of a new file that we want to create. And in this case, I've named it test2. You can see at the top, it does not say new buffer. It says file test2. Then here in the contents, I can type a little bit and use Control O in order to write out or save the changes. Now you can see that the file name to write field has already been populated with the name test2. That is the name that I specified on the command line. Hitting enter will write the changes, and then Control X will exit out of Nano. Now, still in the test directory, notice Cody at localhost test on the command line there. We can see where we are, and we can issue ls to see our new file. Now go ahead and move one directory back to your home directory. Issue the ls command to get your bearings, make sure that's where you are. You should see your test directory there. Now I want you to remove the directory test with rmdir, remove directory, space, and then test. The problem is that directory is not empty. And the remove directory command is only going to work on empty directories. So what we have to do is to cd into the test directory and remove any files which are contained there in the test directory. That's one way to do it anyway. And so we'll be practicing doing that with rm test2. We can remove this file with rm space test2. The file is now gone. We can see that with ls. We can move back to our home directory, and we can now successfully issue the remove directory command on our test directory and remove that directory because now it is empty.